HelloNote is a truly therapist-friendly practice management solution with integrated EMR that will enhance workflow, efficiency, and patient care. HelloNote reduces error and allows you to spend more time with your patients. It comes integrated with billing. Claims are generated once a note is completed. You can bill with one click and a patient portal, which streamlines the patient intake process. Beautifully engineered and cloud-based for easy accessibility, the software works on all platforms. You can access patient records from anywhere. We also offer 24/7 support. HelloNote is the practice management solution that you're looking for.
Alternative Healthcare Career Group. Good morning. It's a beautiful Sunday here in Martin, Tennessee. Yes, we don't normally go live because it's Sunday. It's church time, right? But it's a special day today. Well, Sunday is a very special day anyway. Every Sunday is a good day. It's a day of rest, ladies and gentlemen. You got to learn how to rest, R-E-S-T. But speaking of resting, we're going to have to interview today. There's a difference of time zone, so we had to adjust today. But it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. How do you spell exciting? If you are excited, type in excited. Oh, by the way, how do you spell excited? E-G-G, excited, right? Excited. Well, anyway, if you are watching live, please comment live. Watching on the replay in our podcast and their YouTube, type in replay. Hey, do you guys hear my music? If you hear my music, Dr. Robert, can you hear my music? Nod like this. There you go. All right, our special encouragement and quote for today. Here you go. The best way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. This is by Walt Disney. Hey, guess what? Walt Disney is correct. A lot of us here, we just want to talk. Just like me, I just keep on talking, right? If you want to start doing and achieving your next level in life, if you want to find your alternative healthcare career, you got to start quitting talking. Now, when you're talking, you got to start declaring the positive things in your life. You know, if you start talking about negativity and everything, guess what? You're going to get negative, obviously, right? Now, same thing with a seed. You know, if you plant an apple seed, what do you expect? You get an apple tree, apple fruit, right? If you plant an orange seed, what do you get? You get an orange tree, orange fruit. Well, same thing. You know, when you're planting a positive word, guess what? You get a positive result. Positive tree, positive result, positive fruit. What Walt Disney's saying here, if you don't have anything good to say in your life, in your family, in your wife, in your husband, in your kids, don't say it at all and start doing it. If you want to find your alternative career, if you want to be a nurse, if you want to be whatever, you know, online teaching, online doing online stuff like what we're doing here, you start doing it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Walt Disney is still reinventing himself. You know, when he started Walt Disney, the Disney World or whatever you call that, it wasn't perfect. He start doing it and start doing it. There's power on taking action. When you take action, when you take the first step, ladies and gentlemen, that's when you become powerful. You know, you're like this, you know, sitting down like, oh, someday I want to be like this. It's not going to happen someday. The someday island. You got to get out there and start networking, start reaching out to people, start taking action, start taking that first step. Just like our patients, ladies and gentlemen. I'm I've got some patients will say, "Hey, I want to get better, Michael. You know, I want to be stronger," but they don't want to get out of the bed, right? They don't want to get out of the bed. The only time that they will get better and stronger is when we help them get out of the bed, sit them up, and ask them to take the first step. Today, somebody will help us how to get and start the first step. His name is Dr. Robert Delgado. What? Where did that go? Dr. Robert Delgado. Yes, his name is Dr. Robert Delgado. He is actually a chiropractor based in South Africa. We're going to ask him, what is he doing in our group, right? What's up with the South Africa people, right? He's actually a chiropractor there, and he's a mentor at the Chiropractic Freedom Project. We're going to ask him that too. What does that mean? You know, we need to collaborate, you know, with chiropractors. I've interviewed physicians, nurses, therapists, obviously. So we need to collaborate with different people, right? So he's actually also a speaker. Oh gosh, I got to learn from this dude. And a mindset coach. Mindset coach. Everything starts on the mind, ladies and gentlemen. 99% starts there, right? And he's actually from Cape Town, Western Cape, South Africa. Without further ado, let's bring in Dr. Robert Delgado. What is going on there, Dr. Robert?
Hey, Mike. Thanks for having me, mate.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening there. Where are you at, Dr. Robert? Could you please tell us where you're from? What do you do really? And how can you help us find our alternative career, sir?
Okay, well, as you said, I'm a chiropractor. I'm in Cape Town, the tip of Africa. I spent a lot of time in the UK and in London. I had a practice there as well. What I'm going to talk about and what I'm really passionate about is helping healthcare providers get more freedom by sharing their gifts online. So that's what we're going to talk about, is taking your expertise that you have and leveraging it, taking it online so that you can help more people, you can impact more people outside the four walls of your practice, and at the same time that you can get your freedom, because any doctor, any healthcare provider that's been selling their time, seeing patients, they understand that the biggest weakness in that business model when you're selling time is that when you're not working, you're not earning. And there's a big downfall around that. It doesn't have to be like that. And this is the best opportunity now in these times to go online. And I'm going to teach you as much as I can today on how you can do that.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I guess my question is, so first, I love your accent, man.
Thank
so
you.
So smart. Our Filipino accents, like, hello, how are you? I consider myself smart, but it doesn't sound smart. I mean, when I hear an English accent like that, man, it's like, I'll believe whatever you say, man. So
I had a call the other night with someone in the US. I can't believe where it was. And I was speaking. And then at the end of the call, she said, can we just stay on for a few more minutes? I just want to listen to your accent some more. So, hey, I'll take it. You got to take any advantage you can get. So,
you know what? That's true, right? That's true. Well, of course, you don't think it as an accent because that is really how you say it, right? So it's me who have an accent right now. Well,
it's strange to hear someone say that is an accent, but anyway, I sound like Trevor Noah.
That's true, right? You know, and people say, "Hey, Michael, you got an accent." I'm like, "This is how I talk back home in the Philippines." Yeah. So so I guess it is what it is, man. So could you tell us, so from being a chiropractor, so are you originally from there in South Africa and then you moved back to UK and then went back again? Can you tell us your story about that? And then from there, why did you start your online thing?
Okay, so yes, I qualified as a chiropractor in South Africa. I came out 2006 or beginning of 2007. And I decided I wanted to learn more. I wanted to see the world and kind of expose myself to different things. So I moved to London. I was only supposed to go for between 6 to 12 months. So I was going to be there for 1 year. And I ended up being there six years. And while I was there, I had a practice, a very, very busy practice. I was very blessed to work with some mentors and coaches in the chiropractic field, both in Europe and in the US. After 6 years, I missed home and I missed the sun. I couldn't get used to the weather in the UK. So I came back and I moved to Cape Town, where I am now. which I believe is the most beautiful city in the world, and opened my own practice here. So built it up. It was a very successful practice, and I loved it. However, I got married. I got 2 young children, and I wanted success. I wanted a great lifestyle. I wanted to provide for my family. I wanted to be able to give them the resources that they needed or wanted to have a great life. So what that meant was I just had to work harder, and it was about getting as many patients through the door as possible, getting new patients, converting them to like long-term care, because you were on this roller coaster or this hamster wheel of I want success. So in order to do that, I need to have a more successful practice. I need to see more patients or whatever. It got to a point where I was feeling burnt out. I was working longer and longer hours. What would happen is patients would say, would you mind coming in 10 minutes earlier tomorrow to see me? And then I go, okay, and I'd come in 10 minutes earlier. And then the next patient would say that, the next patient would say that. Next thing I knew, I was starting work at 6:40 in the morning, 6:40 a.m., and going to 5 p.m. in the afternoons. I was seeing my kids for an hour. So I was gone in the morning. Before they woke up, I would come home in the evening. I was tired from seeing this high volume or doing a presentation or doing something. I would see them for about an hour and they were in bed. And I thought to myself, this cannot stay this way. The selling that your time, you have to somehow change your business model. So I decided I was going to take on associates. So I had multiple associates. I put them in corporate buildings. So at one point we had 3 or 4 corporate sites, because now I was going to move from being self-employed to being a business owner. But having multiple associates also had its issues, finding good people, keeping good people. Then I became a professional speaker. But again, that was selling my time again. I was jumping on airplanes or jumping in a car in between patients, driving to a place, doing a presentation, coming back. So no matter what I did, it always just seemed to do the same thing, where I was selling my time. I was giving my expertise and whatever. Someone was paying me for my time. And I realized that I was not a business owner. I was not an entrepreneur. I was just a pretty well-paid employee. But what could I do? This was the situation I was in. And then, as often happens, the universe gave me something to give me a kick in the backside. And how it panned out for me was, I got a phone call from my tax lady or my accountant, and she said, I want to come see you. I've got something important to speak to you about. So I thought this was a bit strange that she wanted a meeting out the blue. So I thought, anyway, you can come over. She came over and she said, first of all, I just want to say congratulations, because your practice has done quite well. So I said, oh, thank you very much. And she said, in fact, it's done a lot better than we anticipated. And we've picked up something. So I was like, well, what have you picked up? And she said, when we looked at your income, we left a portion of your income out because of the software we were using. So the short story is, we've underestimated your income, which means you've been paying too little tax. Now it's come to the surface, and you have this huge tax bill that you have to pay. And not only do you have to pay that, but going forward, we're going to have to put more and more money aside so that you can catch up, because now we're paying catch up. You're about a year behind in this large sum. So in 24 hours, it cleared all my savings, everything that I had. I had a credit card that was put fully to the max. And now suddenly, every single month, I'm having to put more money aside to try and catch up. So I went from being financially pretty okay and abundant to being in complete financial scarcity. I honestly, there were points where I didn't even know how I was going to pay the practice rent, never mind my home expenses. Money would come into the practice, we'd go straight out to groceries and things. I mean, the fear and the stress that builds up when you have a cash flow problem like that, which I'm sure there's people listening to this today that are feeling the same way. So I hear you, I went through it. So what did I do? I worked harder. So I tried to get more volume, more patients. It made things worse because I was at home less. I was doing things in the evenings, doing presentations via Zoom in the evenings. I would say yes to everything, just anything to get this income in. And it pushed me to breaking point. Until one day I woke up, I was meditating, and this thought flashed into my mind there, which was, I want to help people with mindset, you know. And I'd always been interested in self-empowerment, self-development mindset, although at that point I was as a low point as I've ever been. But this vision came. I want to help people with mindset. In fact, it came out like this. I want to help people experience more fulfillment in their lives. And it was like something just clicked. And it wasn't even 3 or 4 days later that a mentor came in as a patient to my practice. And we started talking and we hit it off. And to make a long story short, we ended up having lunch. And he said, I'm a business coach, I'm a mindset coach, I'm a mentor, and I can help you build any dream that you want. And I said, I want to go online and I want to help people with mindset. I want to help people experience more fulfillment in their lives. I want to go online and create courses, not only so that I can change their lives, but also then I can have more freedom. I want something that's scalable, and I'm not selling my time anymore. And he said, great, I can help you do that. But it's going to cost you 2,000 euros a month. So I'm not 100% sure in dollars, it's roughly the same. So let's assume 2,000 US dollars per month just to pay him. And that's my mate's rate, my cheap rate for you, because I know you're struggling. And to go home to my wife and say, well, you know that we're struggling to make ends meet now. Well, I'm going to pay a coach, or I'd like to pay a coach or mentor $2,000 a month for him to help me get out of this. And my wife must be a saint because she actually agreed to it. And I started working with him, and through his mentorship and him pushing me, 2 things happened. One is I learned to blueprint on how to create an online business. And number 2, I started doing mindset coaching online. My first patients were, my first clients, online clients, were patients. I would just shift them from being patients into my online business. I created a little 6-week course. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I wasn't Tony Robbins. I wasn't anybody like that, but I just did something. You spoke about action. I just imperfectly acted, and I started selling some of these courses. And I think it all changed for me the one day when I decided to do a webinar. It was my first webinar. And again, I had no idea what I was doing, but I sent out an email to my patients who had shown interest in the mindset side. I did this webinar. I made an offer at the end for my 6-week course. I can't remember what the price point was. It was like $300 or something for this course that I had created. I went to bed and I woke up the next morning and there was $3,000 in my account that these people had paid me. And that's when things just shifted in my mind. It's like I went to sleep and I woke up and there was $3,000 in my account. And now all I need to do is email a pre-recorded course that I've created to those people, and that's it. I'm done. And that's when I realized that it was possible to what the possibility was of going online. So I carried on doing that. I started group coaching, and the online business was completely part-time. And it was earning between say $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month, and I was still in full-time practice. So with that earning, it just got us out of that hole. And then I did that for a while. I think it was about a year. It went really, really well. And then lockdown happened. COVID happened. And in South Africa, we went to lockdown level 5, and we were shut down for 2 months. So that was 2 months, 0 income from my practice. And I just saw that my online business, I just turned on the taps of my online business, and my income actually went up in those 2 months. And it was during that time that I realized that I could help other doctors, chiropractors, whatever profession, do the same thing, because now I had this skill set. I had this blueprint. I had this knowledge of how to take your knowledge and turn it into an online business. And I started doing that. And now currently I'm helping chiropractors and other healthcare professionals take their knowledge and turn it into an online business so they can be free. And that's why it's called the Chiropractic Freedom Project, because the purpose of it is whoever goes through it to use your gifts, share it online, and to get real freedom, because you're changing lives without selling your time. Wow. So I hope that wasn't too long, but that's my life story.
Wow, that is very powerful, ladies and gentlemen. If you are still watching live, ladies and gentlemen, please comment live. If you're watching on a replay, please comment replay. We have Dr. Delgado here. We are interviewing him about how he is building an automated online business present, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, Stephen Dunn said, let's go. I don't know, is that a accent? This is a Louisiana accent here, Dr. Delgado. Stephen is actually a therapist slash Pilates guy. He's got that $1 million thing there going on in his area there. Yes, I like what Dr. Delgado said. I was writing things down, ladies and gentlemen. You got to write things down. If you are not writing things down, it doesn't become a reality. Because writing things down, like what we said earlier, is action. It's taking action. You got to write things down, guys. So I like what he said here. He was getting paid really good working as an employee in his business. And then he encountered burnout. I think most of us here in our group, Alternative Healthcare Career Group, we were like working and working for what you call this trading time for money. And that's when you achieve burnout. That's where you get tired, ladies and gentlemen. And he said he started working harder. Most of us here, we do that, right? Okay, we're paying bigger taxes, work harder, right? But I really like what he said here. If I can read my handwriting right. He said here, take action. It doesn't have to be perfect. His first webinar, I'm sure it wasn't perfect. I mean, I'm going to ask him later. Was it perfect? No, it's not. Probably it's not. And I like what he said here. You got to use your gifts. All of us here in our group, Alternative Healthcare Career Group, whether you're watching live or whatever, you have a gift inside of you. There's this specific passion deep hidden inside your heart. There's a reason why you became a therapist, a chiropractor, a nurse, or a physician. There's something deep inside of you why you took this freaking long course or this subject, because you wanted to help someone. You wanted to help someone bring out the best in them. Whether you're doing therapy, whether you're doing manipulation, whether you're passing out medication, whether you're prescribing medication, there's something deep inside you that you want to help. Now find that specific gift. And that's what Dr. Robert is going to teach us right now. He's going to teach us how we can find that specific niche. We're going to ask him, hey, how can I find how can I find this niche deep inside me? So Dr. Robert, we're going to bring back Dr. Robert. Oh, there he is. Dr. Robert, how can we find that niche or that specific gift? Is there any technique? You mentioned about mindset. You mentioned about creating goals. I mean, is there any step-by-step that we can use where we can find, so
how I teach my clients is, first of all, if you're going into an online business for the first time, it's very important that you do choose a niche or a niche, the way we say it. And the reason for that is that online there's so much noise, and a lot of the limitations that doctors have in their minds is that there's so much out there. How could I even compete with all these nutrition coaches and mindset coaches and whatever? And how you do it is you start very, very niche. Because when you start very, very niche, your competition becomes irrelevant. You take all of them out because you are going for a very specific slice. So it's counterintuitive, but the more you niche, the more successful you will be. You got to niche until it's uncomfortable. So don't just say, I help athletes. Say, I help retired football players that have chronic knee pain. That's niche or niche, and it makes your competitors irrelevant. So the question is, okay, so how do we choose one? And for me, the most important is you've got to be passionate about it. There's got to be a passion. So let's use me as an example. I went into mindset, and I went into things like limiting beliefs and lack of fulfillment. And the reason why I was so interested in that is I had struggled with that my entire life. I had struggled with limitations in my mind. I had struggled with anxiety as a young person. I had struggled with lack of fulfillment. Even though I was pretty successful externally, I never really felt peaceful. I never really felt calm. So I was very passionate about that, and I was quite knowledgeable about that because I was trying to fix myself. And it was through that story that I had some epiphanies And then because I was further down the line, I could look back and I could help other people. So number one, what are you passionate about? Number two, look at your own story. And what have you learned? What could you teach yourself 20 years ago? If you could sit in front of yourself 20 years ago, what could you teach them? So that's why I went into the mindset coaching. Number three is, what if there's a specific type of person or patient that you love working with? If you really love working with high-level athletes, if you really love working with CEOs, if you really love working with stay-at-home moms, who do you look forward to coming into your practice? Because there was 3 steps. Number one is you look at your own story and see if there's something you've learned in your life that you think could be of value to someone else. The second thing is you can look at patients in your practice that you really love working with and that you're really passionate about, or a subject that you're really passionate about. And then you ask yourself, okay, so those are the people I want to help. What is their big problem? What is the big problem that I can help you with? And I'll tell you a story about this. I'm working with a chiropractor at the moment, very successful practice, similar to me in that she wants more freedom to spend more time with her kids. And she's an amazing athlete from young. Athletics, powerlifting, fitness, competitive fitness, everything like that. So she's also very passionate about mindset. So she looked at her 2 passions. One was being an athlete, and 2 was mindset. So she came to me and she's like, I want to do mindset coaching. So I said, who do you want to help? And she said, everybody. I said, no, if you want to try and help everybody, at first you're going to help nobody. We've got to narrow it down. She said, well, I'm an athlete. I love working with athletes. Maybe I could do mindset coaching for athletes. And I said to her, that's better. So what is the problem you're going to solve for them? What is the major benefit that these athletes are going to have if they work with you? And she was fuzzy and she was hazy and she couldn't get it right. So I said to her, do me a favor, go find 10 athletes that are within your target market, the people you love working with. And I want you to ask them the question, what is the biggest obstacle you have in terms of reaching your potential as an athlete? Just go ask them that question. So she went out and she asked them this question, and she collated them all. And I said, what's come up? And she said, what's come up a lot is fear. There's a lot of fear of failing, fear of success, fear of letting the coach down, fear of injury, fear of changing coaches. She's like, this is just this theme of athletes that struggle with fear. And then I stopped her and I said, so what do you do? And she said, I help athletes conquer their fear. And when she said that, it was a light bulb went on. It was like her head and her heart aligned up. Her purpose just exploded through her chest. And she's like, I help athletes conquer their fear.
Very simple, but very specific.
So simple. Now that she's not competing with Tony Robbins, she's not competing with Robin Sharma, she's not competing with all those people. She has found her heart's desire. And now her heart is burning, and she's going out and she's putting together, just from her knowledge and her books that she's read, a course and a coaching system to help athletes conquer their fear. And that when you get that right, and I'll tell you the most difficult thing for doctors that I help is choosing this. They and they are, and they go too broad at first, or that's this analysis paralysis. They're waiting for the perfect thing so they don't start or anything like that. Half my job is just getting people to get clear on that niche, because once you're clear, the rest is simple. There's a blueprint that you follow. And then it's just about being consistent with that blueprint. And the number one important thing, never give up. The difference between people that are successful online and people that aren't are successful people don't give up. They make the same mistakes. They have the same issues. They have the same fears. They have imposter syndrome, just like you and I have. Who am I to be on a podcast? Who am I to be teaching about this? Everyone has the same stuff. But the successful people don't give up. It really is that simple. So get quiet and ask yourself, what is my vision? Who can I help? What problem can I solve for them? And get zoned in. And the bigger problem you solve, the more you can charge for it. Which is because imagine, let's use another example. You want to help entrepreneurs successful entrepreneurs with sciatica. Now, you put yourself in an entrepreneur's position. He is a 7-figure entrepreneur, and he's ambitious, and he's full of drive, and he's going to take over the world. But every single day, he can barely sit in his chair because he's got the sciatica in his right leg. He can't sleep. He can't train. He can't do anything. How much of a big problem is that for that entrepreneur? What effect is that having on his career, on his family life, on his personal life? That is a massive problem. Now, if he comes across your work and you say, I help busy entrepreneurs conquer their sciatica naturally, and he sees that, and you get that messaging right so it hits him in the face, he will pay anything as long as you can deliver on that, because it's a deep, deep problem. And that's why you don't have to go wide. You must go deep.
Oh, wow.
And
that is amazing.
That is it.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you mentioned that you've got another group, Alzheimer's and dementia. It's a niche, and you can go deep into that. The conversation you can have in that group can go really deep and can really help a lot of people, because it's not just we help, everybody. It's like we help with this specific condition. So I will say the 3 niches that people that online healthcare professionals tend to do well in. Number 1 is obviously the lifestyle stuff. So nutrition or functional movement, exercise, mindset, stress management. So you've got that wellness lifestyle. That's the first niche. The second one is condition specific. I think there is a massive gap for being very condition specific, like saying, I help people with chronic rotator cuff syndrome. Like really zone in. You've got that guy who's had that rotator cuff injury for years. He's gone to people, it's getting nowhere. They want to do surgery, or they have done surgery. And getting really deep and saying, I will do everything possible to help you with that rotator cuff. So that's condition specific. And then number 3 is business coaching. Say you have a successful practice. You might have a successful physical therapy practice, occupational therapy, whatever it is. You can help others build their practice up. So that's another business I created. Is second to my mindset coaching, I did chiropractic business coaching, and I helped young chiropractors build their practice up. So I helped them with communication and systems and all these things. So the great thing about that niche is that you're working with people that you really know, because it was you 10 years ago. So I would say that might help some of your listeners, is going into lifestyle, wellness lifestyle, helping a very specific person with a very specific condition, or doing business coaching and helping others in your profession and bringing them up to where you are. Like maybe you're great at marketing. Maybe you're great at working with lots of associates. Maybe you're great at automating, whatever that skill set you have. Like with you, Mike, you are great at building Facebook groups. So you could have a course. I help healthcare professionals build a tribe of 10,000 members in a Facebook group. That's really niche. I want some commission if you do that. That's really niche. And it helps a deep problem, because a lot of healthcare practitioners want a engaged Facebook group, and they don't know how to do it.
Oh, wow. That is so powerful. So speaking of engaging our Facebook group, we will go on a quick break after this few seconds.
HelloNote is a truly therapist-friendly practice management solution with integrated EMR that will enhance workflow, efficiency, and patient care. HelloNote reduces error and allows you to spend more time with your patients. It comes integrated with billing. Claims are generated once a note is completed. You can bill with one click and a patient portal, which streamlines the patient intake process. Beautifully engineered and cloud-based for easy accessibility, the software works on all platforms. You can access patient records from anywhere. We also offer 24/7 support. HelloNote is the practice management solution that you're looking for.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, if you are watching live, comment live. Watching on the replay, comment replay. We have Dr. Delgado here teaching us how to find our niche and how to start your own online business. Hey, I'm writing things down, ladies and gentlemen. This is such a great topic for today, and I'm learning so much. I like what he said about there's so much noise. Well, obviously, our music is noisy, you know, but there is so much noise in this world right now. I'm noisy. You know, in school, you know, they write you down, okay, Michael Chua, you're noisy. I'm always noisy. Yes, I get called out all the time by my teachers. Yes, if the world is so, there's so much noise nowadays, you have to be in a niche specific business. Even even doctors. You can't be just a general practitioner. You have to be a specific doctor, like a cardiologist, a chiropractor, you know, an orthopedic doctor, even therapists. We have specialties in, you know, geriatric specialists, orthopedic specialists when it comes to physical therapy. You have to find that specific niche. I like what he said. You cannot serve everybody. If you're serving everybody, you're not serving no one. You have to be specific. You have to be meaningful, specific, ladies and gentlemen. And I like what he's talking about right now. And especially, he also talked about the fear. We are so fearful. There's two types of fear, ladies and gentlemen. First is the fear of failure. We're fearful of failing, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? You're going to fail. I'm going to tell you now. And you start this type of business, you're going to fail. It doesn't matter how many times you failed or fallen or got sick. What matters is how many times you get up and do this all over again. I like what he said. He said here, never give up. Never give up. You know, business owners, they've failed again and again. That's why when I got rejected, when I got fired last year, I'm like, I'm not going to give up. This is just the start. The more no's, the more failures that you get, the closer you get to your goal, ladies and gentlemen. So I like what he said there. It's a simple phrase. Never give up, but just keep going. I like what he said too. The other fear. Remember the fear of failure? You know what's the other fear that we get? The fear of success. We are afraid of being successful, that we feel like we're not worthy. Do you know what they call it? He already mentioned it too. He said the imposter syndrome. Am I worthy of starting my own show? Am I worthy in teaching people? Am I worthy in doing this? What every day, I like what he said, the imposter syndrome. I get that every time I go live. I don't speak English well. I mean, English is not my first language. I have that imposter syndrome. Am I going to speak English? Am I going to speak English well today? I was like, gosh. But I just keep on going, ladies and gentlemen, because I know my niche. I know where I stand. I know where to keep going. I like what he said, you know, the three things. Let me just recap this before I bring him back. First thing that he said, what are you passionate about? My case, my passion is Alzheimer's and dementia, geriatrics. That's my passion. What's the next thing that you need to find to find your niche is your story. How can you connect that story? Because there's power in your stories. You know, when you talk to a guy, when you talk to a lecturer or something like that, you get bored in the specifics, right? You don't want to read all the PowerPoint slide, but when they start sharing their story, well, guess what? You like listen more to that story. So what is your story in that specific passionate topic you're about? And then number three that he said is what type of specific patient you want to work with. So if you want to work with strokes or Alzheimer's or athletes, I don't know what you want to do, you know, go for that. All right. So again, we're interviewing Dr. Robert Delgado. He's actually an online coach, a digital course creator, stuff like that. He's a chiropractor mentor there in South Africa. We're going to bring him back. Dr. Robert, there you are, sir. I really like what we're doing right now. So could you tell us before I let you go, could you tell us what you call this? What is your biggest challenge as a chiropractor or as a business owner, and how did you turn this around, sir? How did you turn this around?
My biggest challenge in terms of practice, and I think especially when you have a family and young children, is managing time. And I think that's every healthcare provider's biggest challenge, or everyone that I've spoken to, is that especially if you are ambitious and you want to make a big impact, your time is limited. And there's a couple of things around this. Number one is, how are you managing your time? So for instance, one of the biggest blessings I ever gave myself is I trained myself to get up earlier. I mean, I get up, at one point I was getting up at 20 past 4 a.m. That's because I was starting practice at 6:40 a.m., but I don't recommend that. I got up earlier and I gave myself my first 30 minutes to an hour was quiet time. Everyone else is asleep. The house is dark. And I did what was important to me. And for me, my meditation is incredibly important. It's one of the most important things in my life is my meditation. So I usually spend my first 20 to 30 minutes in meditation. Then I look at my day. I get my goals in line. I see what I want to achieve for that day. Then my kids wake up and I'm just in this amazing state. I'm calm. I'm grateful. I'm present. The kids run into the room, and instead of me being all stressed and hyped up, I better get ready for practice, and I'm looking at CNN and all these things, I'm me and I'm present with them. So everyone's got the same 24 hours in the day, so don't say that you don't have time. It's just about how you're managing your time, and one of the biggest blessings will be get up earlier and spend your first 30 to 45 minutes doing something that gets you into state rather than social media news, which is putting you into scarcity. So you want to start the day in an abundant state. The next thing, which this was one of the biggest challenges I had in most of my life and still today, and that's being present. Because a lot of doctors, when they're at the practice, they're thinking I should really be at home with my family. And when they're with their family, they're thinking I should really be at the practice earning money. So you actually know where. And what I'd really try and do, and it's not always easy, but when I'm at the practice, I'm at the practice. When I'm doing this interview now, I'm doing this interview. But when I'm with my kids, when I'm with my wife, when I'm with my family or with my friends, I'm with them and practicing presence, because then you can actually get a lot done and still enjoy it and still give to the people that are important to you. So defend your state. If you start your day with a good, abundant state and you keep that state throughout the day, you will watch magic happen in your life. If you wake up as late as you can and you pick up CNN or Fox News, whatever it is for you, and you read that and you start in that scarcity, limitation, and fear state, you're going to carry on that for the rest of the day. Once I did that, I found that I was able to do my busy practice. I was able to run my associates. I built an online business, my mindset coaching business, from scratch, learning myself. I did all those things in the same 24 hours that everybody else has. And now, because my online business is more automated, I have more time than I've ever had in my life. This year, I took 2 weeks off. To my 40th birthday, I took 2 weeks off. And when we left, 2 weeks later, I came back and I'd earned more money than I usually do in practice. And that was because of my online business was set up in a way that it was earning money even when I wasn't there, which is an amazing feeling. But in order for me to get to that point, I did have discipline and I sacrificed and I learned the blueprint and I never gave up and I pivoted and I shifted. But now I'm at a point, I'll still make lots of mistakes, but now I'm at a point at least that I've got a skill set that can be used for many different things. And that's given me a lot of confidence and a lot of security. So if, there's more lockdowns and things like that, at least I have another skill set, so it gives me that security. So look, you will feel scared. You will have imposter syndrome. You will have to work hard to build an online business. You will have challenges, but it's so worth it. Just do it. This is the best time in history for healthcare providers to go online. People are getting more self-responsible. They're starting to ask themselves, how can I look after myself better? And because of the pandemic, a lot of them are spending more time at home. The information and online course business has gone through the roof. People are buying courses like crazy. Why don't they buy one of your courses? And why don't you change their lives while you get the freedom and the time and the money freedom that you deserve? So I really encourage people to go online and make it happen. If this is your dream, make it happen.
Oh, wow. Those are very powerful. Thank you very much, Dr. Robert. Hey, guys, if you were watching live, please comment live. Watching on the replay, please comment replay. I like what Dr. Delgado said. The two things. I mean, I asked that question every time we go live, ladies and gentlemen. I ask that same question again and again. What's your biggest challenge and how are you using it and how are you turning around? And almost 99.9% of the time, 99.9, right? 100% of the time, it's the same concept. There's always a challenge, But when you answer that challenge, it becomes a reality. You become better from that challenge. I like what he said about creating a quiet time. That's a challenge for us. That's my challenge. I wake up early too, and I try to write down. I have a journal here that I write on. The performance planner, and there's also a thing there. Being present. I like what he said. Being present. When we're working, we're thinking about home. When we're at home, we're thinking about work. That's me, right? You got to be present, ladies and gentlemen. So whatever you're doing right now, be in the now. NOW, be in the now. Be present. I like what he said. And he said he's also totally worth it. Dr. Robert, I'm going to bring you back in. Where can we reach you? Where can we find you? And I'm going to show up your website here. And what is the last parting wisdom you could give for our audience, sir?
Okay, so where you can find me, I think chirofreedom.online. You can have a look at my story there and a little bit about what I'm about. But I created a webinar, which you'll see it's chirofreedom.online/webinar, where I teach the exact 5 steps that I recently used to create a 6-figure online business while I was still in full-time practice that has now got the ability to automate. To give you an idea, my online business can work by me only being active in it 1 hour per week. So the system, I give it to you in this webinar, and I tell you the difference between what different businesses that are successful and different ones that are failing, and what the differences are. So it's the exact 5 steps that you can take. Watch that webinar, no matter what practice you are in, what profession you are in. It's all the same thing. We are all experts that can serve people using our knowledge. So watch that webinar. If you want to book a call with our team, and you'll speak to me personally and talk about your online business. If you want to start one from scratch, or if you want to scale your online business and take it to 6 figures and beyond, you can book a discovery call. So that's how you can get hold of me. I've also got a Facebook group, not as big as yours. We'll have to discuss that. But parting knowledge is that, we've got the ego mind, our mind, which is the limited self. And then you've got the highest version of yourself. And the highest version of yourself has got no limitations. And it's here not to get, it's here to give. We didn't come into this physical expression to get, we came here to give. And your job on this planet is to connect, to break through this limitation of neurology here, and connect to that higher self, and then just to give. And I promise you, if you give authentically of yourself to serve the human race, you will be blessed with more abundance than you could ever imagine. And not only financially, but you will have fulfillment, you will have joy, you'll have purpose in your life. So don't worry about getting, worry about giving. And it's not always easy, and it takes daily practice. But that has changed my life when I got out of my head into my heart, and I asked myself, how can I use my authenticity, my unique set of skills, and my unique story to help people as much as possible? And when I did that, I got the fulfillment I was looking for, and the finances followed.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That is so powerful, ladies and gentlemen. That is so powerful. I like what he said. The highest version of ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Not to get, but what to give. I mean, it's the golden rule. I mean, the golden rule is do what, But, another golden rule here. It's not what you get, it's what you give. Another quote, it's better to give than to receive. Just like boxing. Would you want to get all those punches? You want to keep on punching. You want to keep on giving, ladies and gentlemen. And I like what he said here. Last but not least, I know I keep on talking, Dr. Delgado. Get out of your head, ladies and gentlemen. We keep on analyzing things. We want to analyze and analyze and analyze. Well, guess what? If you keep on analyzing things, you're not going to give. Sometimes you just have to let your heart take over. In that way, you can give. Just like giving or tithing. In church, there's what you call that tithe. You give 10% of your income. You don't analyze. You just give. You just don't analyze. Oh, when, for example, you're giving somebody something to the poor, you don't analyze. Oh, this person is so healthy. Why are we supposed to give money or alm or whatever to this person? You don't analyze. You just do the heart. Take care of that heart. And most of us in our group, because we're therapists, we're doctors, I got this doctor's degree. I have a master's degree, and we want to analyze everything here. Well, guess what? Start giving, and then everything will come back to you. Again, thank you very much, Dr. Robert. I appreciate you. I know I already asked this. Any last parting wisdom, a quick encouragement for our group, and I'm going to post up your website again, sir.
We how blessed are we to be in a profession, no matter what profession you're in, that you are serving others. It's just, no matter what part of healthcare you are in, you're in this profession where people are coming, paying money to take your advice and to listen to you. And, I know there's difficulties in running a practice, but we are so blessed. So connect to that gratitude, and make sure that you're giving the best of yourself, and you will see the fulfillment come in from your practice.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much, Dr. Delgado. Appreciate you. Again, ladies and gentlemen, check out his website, chirofreedom.online/webinar, where he's going to teach you 5 steps, 5 videos, or whatever you call that, in how to find and start your own online career and stuff like that. Let me just do a quick recap on what the 3 niches that you can go into, the top 3 niches. He said wellness, condition specific, and business coaching. If you want to be a wellness coach or condition specific coach or a business coach, reach out to Dr. Delgado. He has a website called Chiro Freedom Online/webinar. Check it out. You can also email him at robert@drrobertdelgado.com. Check that out. Again, thank you very much, Dr. Robert. I appreciate you. Again, be awesome, be great, be excellent, Alternative Career Group. But before I let you go, always remember the word FAST, F-A-S-T. Is that the sign language? No, F-A-S-T, letter F. Find friends that will push you to your next level, because you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So who are you hanging out with? Are you hanging out with awesome people? Guess what? You're going to be awesome. Hang out with people who are going to complain, like what he said earlier. Stop complaining. Go find a group of people that will push you to your next level. Next letter on the word fast, letter A. You gotta learn how to take action. All this stuff that we're doing, it's not gonna do me good. It's not even gonna do Dr. Robert good if you don't take action. Take action by going onto his website. His website is chirofreedom.com online/webinar. It's there. Take action. Go to his website. And yes, the next letter is letter S on the word fast. Letter S is shoot for the moon. Why? If you keep shooting for the moon, you're going to miss it. You're going to be landing with the stars. Who would have thought? I kept shooting for the moon. Who would have thought I'll be landing with the stars with Dr. Robert Delgado? He's kind of big there in Africa, South Africa. And of course, UK. I mean, imagine I'm talking to a UK guy in South Africa. I was in the Philippines. I never wanted to talk to American people. I can't even speak English then. Hello, how are you? I cannot talk. Now, I kept shooting for the moon. I missed it. You're gonna be landing with the stars. You keep talking. You keep talking. You keep reaching for the stars, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So the last letter in the word fast is letter T. Why? Teach it. Why? Because when you hear it, you forget. When you see it, you remember. But when you're actually teaching it, you're actually understanding it more. And that's what Dr. Robert is doing. He's teaching you. He's going to teach you how to build an online business. All right. Again, thank you very much, Alternative Healthcare Career Group. I appreciate you. I will see you again. I'll see you later tonight or Tuesday and Thursday. We're going to interview next on Tuesday. We have an interview called How to Start Your Virus Disinfecting Business. Check that out. Okay. I'll see you next week. Be awesome. Be great. Be excellent. I'll see you around, Facebook friends.
HelloNote is a truly therapist-friendly practice management solution with integrated EMR that will enhance workflow, efficiency, and patient care. HelloNote reduces error and allows you to spend more time with your patients. It comes integrated with billing. Claims are generated once a note is completed. You can bill with one click and a patient portal, which streamlines the patient intake process. Beautifully engineered and cloud-based for easy accessibility, the software works on all platforms. You can access patient records from anywhere. We also offer 24/7 support. HelloNote is the practice management solution that you're looking for.